All right, so let's get into some tennis today.
Sounds good.
And specifically all the talk about Wimbledon.
Oh.
Statues and legacies and a little bit of controversy about, who really deserves to be, immortalized in bronze out there.
Yeah.
You sent us some really cool articles about a possible Roger Federer statue.
For sure.
Which, would be a huge deal, obviously.
Yeah.
But then Chris Evert comes in.
Right.
And she suggests that maybe Martina Navratilova deserves it even more.
Interesting.
And so, you might not be a total tennis nut, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
What we're going to look at today goes way beyond just sports.
Nice.
We're going to be, comparing Wimbledon records and diving into, their impact on the game, but also looking at what this whole thing says about how we, celebrate achievement in general.
Absolutely.
So
this is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
I think what's so interesting about this whole debate is that it's not really just about two tennis players. Evert is really making us think about how we value athletic accomplishments, especially for women throughout history.
Yeah, that's a good point, and it gets right to the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start with the Wimbledon wins.
Okay.
Just the basics.
Sure.
Navratilova has 9 singles titles.
Wow.
Which is one more than Federer.
Okay.
It's a simple fact.
Yeah.
But, it definitely makes you think, right?
It does. It really does. And, while Federer has also reached 12 Wimbledon finals, just like Navratilova,
okay,
her win rate in those championship matches is an amazing 75%.
Oh, wow.
But it doesn't stop there.
Oh, really?
If you add in her doubles titles, Navratilova has a mind-blowing 20 Wimbledon titles across all events.
What?
Which is more than any other player in history.
Okay, now that is a stat that deserves a slow clap.
Yeah.
We're talking titles over 3 decades.
It's unbelievable.
From the 70s all the way through the 90s.
Yep.
That's some serious staying power. But, statues aren't just about, racking up trophies. They're about a broader impact, a legacy that goes way beyond just wins and losses. For sure. So what about that side of things?
Okay, well, when we look at Navratilova's legacy, we see someone who really changed women's tennis.
Okay.
Her athleticism was incredible.
Yeah.
She pushed the limits of what people thought was possible on the court.
Yeah, she was known for that.
And it wasn't just talent.
Right.
She was totally dedicated to fitness.
Uh-huh.
And she had this really powerful, aggressive style of play that really changed the game.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about how her approach, this serve and volley style, totally revolutionized women's tennis.
Absolutely.
It was all about dominating at the net, putting pressure on her opponents with every single point. It took incredible precision and athleticism.
Right.
A combination that very few players could match.
Yeah, exactly. She didn't just win.
Yeah.
She made everyone else step up their game.
That's a good point.
And then her epic rivalry with Chris Evert.
Right.
The very person who started this whole statue conversation.
Yeah.
That just brought even more attention to women's tennis.
Right. Evert, with her grace and precision, was the perfect opposite to Navratilova's power and intensity.
We got it.
And their matches weren't just tennis.
Right.
They were these clashes of personality and style.
For sure.
A spectacle that drew in fans from everywhere.
Absolutely.
And then you add in Navratilova's advocacy work off the court for LGBTQ plus rights and health issues.
Right.
She became a really powerful voice for social change, too.
No question about it.
So that adds a whole other layer to her legacy.
Of course.
But obviously we can't talk about Wimbledon legends without talking about Roger Federer.
Oh, yeah. He's one of the greats.
He's earned his place up there with the best.
Totally.
He's known for his grace and sportsmanship and a level of skill that just seems magical sometimes.
Yeah, it's beautiful to watch.
He won Wimbledon 5 times in a row.
I know, it's amazing.
From 2003 to 2007.
Crazy.
And that's something that had never been done before in the men's game.
Yeah, incredible achievement.
But Federer's appeal goes way beyond just the sport.
Absolutely.
He's a global icon. He's brought tennis to new audiences all over the world. And like Navratilova, his philanthropy adds to his legacy.
Right.
Using his platform to make a real difference.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good work.
So that's something really important to think about.
It is.
Both Navratilova and Federer have left their mark on and off the court.
Yes.
But it's really interesting to think about how the context of their achievements is actually quite different.
That's true.
Easy to just get caught up in the number of titles.
Yeah.
But Evert's comments make us think.
Right.
Is there a bias in how we view greatness in sports, especially when we're looking back through history?
Yeah.
Have female athletes had to fight harder for recognition?
Interesting question.
Than their male counterparts?
It is, and it's one worth asking for sure.
Yeah, and this isn't about pitting Federer and Navratilova against each other.
Right.
It's about recognizing all the greats and making sure that everyone's contributions are measured fairly.
I agree.
And that brings us to you, the listener.
Okay.
What criteria matters most to you?
That's a good one.
This is a chance to think about your own values.
Yeah.
And what you think makes someone truly great in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all about just dominating the competition?
Interesting.
Or is it about something more?
It's a good question to think about.
Yeah, keep that in mind as we keep going with this deep dive.
Okay.
There's a lot more to unpack here.
Can't wait.
And who knows, you might even discover a whole new appreciation for this amazing sport.
It's a great sport.
So stick with us. We've got a lot more to cover.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about sports, isn't it?
What's that?
It's not just like the thrill of the game itself.
Right.
But like all the stories that happen along the way.
Uh-huh.
The human drama.
Yeah.
That just sucks us in.
So true. And those stories, I think they transcend generations, reminding us of the resilience and the passion, the just pure pursuit of excellence that makes these athletes so inspiring.
For sure.
Speaking of inspiring, let's go back to Navratilova for a minute.
Okay.
We touched on her incredible Wimbledon record and her impact on women's tennis. But I think it's worth digging a little deeper into that impact.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do it.
I mean, this wasn't just about winning matches.
Right.
Navratilova was a true pioneer.
Absolutely.
Pushing boundaries and redefining what was possible for women in sports.
Totally.
It's amazing to think that she was already challenging these perceptions back in the 70s and 80s. I know, in time when women's sports were often ignored and definitely undervalued.
Yeah, fine.
Just think about the pressure she must have faced.
Oh, yeah. Scrutiny, the lack of support.
It's hard to imagine.
Compared to what the male players were getting.
Totally different world back then.
And yet she rose above it all.
She did.
Became a dominant force in tennis. And this powerful voice for change.
A true inspiration.
It really is a testament to her talent and determination.
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
I mean, she was known for her incredibly tough training. Her relentless pursuit of fitness.
Yeah, she really brought a whole new level
of
intensity and athleticism to the women's game.
I mean, she was one of the first female players.
Oh, wow.
To really incorporate strength training and cross training.
Into her routine.
Yeah, stuff that's totally normal today.
Right.
But she was doing it way back then.
It's a great example of how she was ahead of her time.
For sure.
Constantly pushing the limits.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just physical strength either.
Right.
She was a brilliant strategist. I mean, her serve and volley style.
Oh, yeah, that was revolutionary. Rushing to the net after the serve.
Yeah.
It was groundbreaking at the time.
Definitely high risk, high reward.
For sure.
Required incredible precision.
And timing.
Yeah, you had to be so good to pull it off.
And by controlling the net, she forced her opponents to hit these really difficult shots.
Right.
And basically dictated the whole pace of the match.
She was in control.
Yeah, it was a style that required so much athleticism and mental toughness.
Yeah, she had it all.
And it completely changed the way women's tennis was played.
Totally agree. And it's no coincidence.
What's that?
That her rivalry with Chris Evert became such a huge deal.
Yeah.
I mean, Evert, who was more of a baseline player, was the perfect contrast to Navratilova's aggressive net game.
It's true. Their matches.
Yeah.
They were like this clash of styles.
A battle of wills.
Yeah, and they captivated fans all over the world.
For sure. I mean, their rivalry was a big reason.
I think so, too.
Why women's tennis got so popular. It proved that it could be just as exciting and intense as the men's game.
Right. It challenged all those old ideas that women's tennis wasn't as powerful or athletic.
Yeah, they shut that down for good.
And they did it in a time when society wasn't always supportive of women in sports.
That's so important to remember.
It is. It's easy to look back now and celebrate their achievements. But we can't forget the context, the obstacles they had to overcome.
Right, and I think that's what Evert's getting at.
With her comments about the Wimbledon statue,
I think so.
it's not just about the titles.
Right.
It's about recognizing the whole picture.
The whole journey.
Yeah, the battles they fought, the barriers they broke, the path they paved for the next generation.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes this conversation about statues so much bigger than just who gets a piece of bronze.
It really is. It's about understanding the impact these individuals have had on the sport, the challenges they faced, and the legacies they leave behind.
And speaking of legacies, let's talk about Roger Federer.
All right, let's do it.
He's, without a doubt, one of the greatest tennis players ever.
Of course.
But it's interesting to think about how his story might be seen differently.
Okay.
When we look at it through this lens of historical context.
Interesting thought.
Yeah, it's a fascinating comparison, isn't it?
It is. I mean, Federer's accomplishments.
Right.
They're undeniable.
Yeah.
5 Wimbledon titles in a row, his global fan base, his philanthropy.
All incredible.
But he came into professional tennis when men's tennis was already a worldwide phenomenon.
That's true.
You know, it had all this media attention, sponsorships, infrastructure that women players in previous generations just didn't have.
Yeah, that's a crucial point.
It is.
He definitely benefited from the groundwork that was laid by the players who came before him.
The pioneers.
Yeah, the ones who fought for recognition and paved the way for his success.
Yeah, and while his talent and dedication are obvious, I think it's really important to acknowledge those historical differences when we're comparing his impact to someone like Navratilova, who had to break down so many barriers and challenge so many social norms.
Just to even compete.
Exactly.
At the highest level.
So when we're talking about statues and legacies, it's not about taking anything away from Federer's accomplishments. It's about understanding the nuances, the different paths these athletes have taken, and the unique challenges they faced.
It's about recognizing that greatness comes in many forms.
Absolutely.
And that historical context is so important in how we see and celebrate those achievements.
I agree. And it's not just about what they did on the court. Both Navratilova and Federer have used their platforms to make a real difference in the world. It goes way beyond trophies and records.
I mean, Navratilova's advocacy for LGBTQ plus rights and health issues has been groundbreaking.
It has. She's used her voice to champion causes she believes in, to challenge social norms, and inspire others to be themselves.
Even when it was hard.
Yeah, and unpopular.
And Federer's philanthropy is incredible, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his foundation has supported so many educational initiatives in Africa and Switzerland.
He's the real deal.
Yeah, he's known for his humility, his sportsmanship, his commitment to using his influence for good.
Yeah, it's truly inspiring.
It's amazing to see how they've both given back
Yeah.
and made a positive impact.
It adds another dimension to their legacies.
I think so, too.
It reminds us that true greatness isn't just about being good at sports.
Right.
It's about making a difference, inspiring others, and leaving the world a better place.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think we have a lot to think about.
Definitely.
We've looked at their records, their impact, the historical context, and their broader contributions.
Enough to stuff.
And it's clear that both Navratilova and Federer deserve their place in tennis history.
No question.
But the debate about statues goes much deeper.
It does.
It reminds us that the conversation about equality and representation and historical context is ongoing.
Absolutely.
And it's so important.
We all have a role to play.
Right.
You know, in shaping this conversation.
By engaging with these issues, by educating ourselves about the past, and by fighting for a more inclusive future.
Yeah, we can make sure that the legacies of all athletes are honored and celebrated.
And for you listening, we encourage you to keep exploring this.
Go deeper.
Learn more about the stories of other tennis legends.
From the past and present.
Yeah. Find out about their journeys, their triumphs, the challenges they face.
You know, by broadening our perspective.
Yeah.
We gain this deeper appreciation for this incredible sport.
That appreciation for the whole spectrum of the sport, it's really priceless.
It is, and it's what makes this deep dive so rewarding.
So stick with us as we head into the final part of this conversation.
All right.
Where we'll look at the criteria for greatness.
Sounds good.
And tackle that big question of who really deserves a Wimbledon statue.
I'm ready when you are. And as we kind of wrap up this whole deep dive into the Wimbledon statue thing,
Yeah.
it's cool to think about how these conversations about, like, recognition and legacy,
Right.
they go way beyond just tennis.
It's so true. It doesn't matter if we're talking about sports or art or science or anything, really.
Yeah.
These discussions kind of force us to confront our own biases and really think about what matters when we're celebrating achievement.
They make us look deeper,
Exactly.
beyond the surface.
Yeah.
At the historical context, the social impact, all the stuff that often gets overlooked.
Right. All those unsung contributions that really shape how we see greatness.
Absolutely. And in the case of Navratilova and Federer, it's been amazing to uncover how deep their impact really goes.
Both on and off the court.
Exactly. We've seen the numbers.
Right.
Navratilova's Wimbledon record is just dominant.
It is.
9 singles titles.
Wow.
20 total across all events.
It's crazy.
It's a testament to her incredible athleticism and strategy and just her unwavering determination.
No doubt.
And then you have Federer, this global icon, 5 Wimbledon wins in a row.
Amazing.
Effortless grace on the court.
It's beautiful to watch.
He's captivated fans all over the world.
He has.
He's gone beyond the sport.
For sure.
Become a symbol of excellence and sportsmanship.
Absolutely. But like we've been talking about, it's not just about the trophies or the awards.
It's the stories behind those achievements.
Yeah, the challenge, the barriers they broke.
The impact they had on the world.
Yeah, and recognizing that greatness has so many sides. And it's hard to define sometimes.
It really is. So as we get to this final question of who really deserves a Wimbledon statue, I think we need to think about what criteria we're even using to decide that.
That's the key question, isn't it?
It is, are we focused on just pure athletic dominance? Or are we thinking about things like social impact, advocacy, their ability to inspire people?
It's a tough one.
It is, and I think the answer depends on who you ask.
I think so, too.
Some people might care more about breaking barriers and challenging norms, while others might focus more on global reach. You know how they brought the sport to new levels? It's complicated.
It really is like comparing apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Both Navratilova and Federer have done amazing things.
They have.
But their journeys and their impact have been totally different.
I agree. It's not about saying one is better.
Right.
It's about having a real discussion about what greatness even means.
And making sure that everyone's contributions are recognized.
Absolutely.
And for all of you listening out there, keep digging into this. Dive deeper into the stories of these 2 amazing athletes.
Both of them.
And see what resonates with you.
Yeah. Read their bios.
Watch documentary.
Learn about their charities. And let your own perspective guide you.
When you think about what makes someone great.
Because at the end of the day, it's all of us together who decide how sports history is written.
And by having these conversations, we can create a more inclusive and complete appreciation of all the incredible people who have shaped this world.
And that's a powerful reminder.
What's that?
That these conversations matter.
Right.
They go way beyond statues and awards.
They're about the human spirit.
Yeah.
The pursuit of excellence.
The power of sports to inspire us and connect us all.
It's been so great diving into this with you.
Likewise.
We hope you've enjoyed this exploration of legacy and impact.
Yeah.
And all the complexities of celebrating achievement in tennis.
For sure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep celebrating the stories that shape how we understand greatness.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
We can't wait to share more of these explorations with you in the future.